I'm 75 years old now, and that number still surprises me when I say it out loud. I thought by this age things would make sense. I thought there would be a feeling of arrival. Instead, most days it just feels like I'm sitting with the results of a life that followed the instructions and still somehow missed the point. I wake up early, not because I need to, but because my body doesn't know how to sleep in anymore. The house is quiet in a way that feels permanent. No footsteps, no voices drifting in from another room. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking clock I bought decades ago because it was reliable. Reliable mattered to me. It always did. When I was young, I believed very deeply in rules. Not written rules exactly, but the unspoken ones everyone seemed to agree on. Work hard, be patient, don't rock the boat, save your money, keep your head down, do the right thing, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. I did all of that. I grew up in a small house with thin walls and parents who were tired most of the time. My father worked constantly. My mother worried constantly. Love was there, but it was practical, not expressive. You showed care by being responsible, by not causing trouble. So that's what I learned. I did well in school, not because I loved it, but because it felt safer to be praised than noticed. I went to college because that was the next step. I chose a sensible major. I didn't chase anything uncertain. Passion felt like a luxury for other people. In my 20s, I told myself there would be time later, time to travel, time to figure out what I really wanted, time to rest. First, I needed to establish myself. That word followed me everywhere. Establish, secure, build. I met my wife when I was 27. She was warm in a way I wasn't. She laughed easily. She wanted more out of life than just stability, but she believed in me. I think she thought my seriousness meant depth. Maybe it did in a way. We married after 3 years. Everyone said it made sense. Good match, solid future. I remember standing at the altar feeling calm, not overwhelmed with joy, but steady. I thought that was what commitment was supposed to feel like. We bought a house that was just within our means. We had 2 children. I worked longer hours to make sure they'd never have to worry the way my parents did. I missed dinners sometimes, school plays, small moments I told myself I'd make up for later. Later was always coming. My wife would ask me to slow down, just a little, sit with her, take a weekend off, talk. I'd tell her I was doing all of this for us, and I believed that. I really did. The thing about following rules is that they give you a sense of protection. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to, you don't have to ask harder questions. You don't have to sit with doubt. Years passed quietly. Promotions came, raises, nods of approval from men who looked just like me, just a little older. I became dependable, the kind of person others relied on, the kind no one worried about. At home, the distance grew slowly like rust. Not dramatic, not loud, just a gradual thinning of connection. Conversations became logistical. Who's picking up whom? What needs fixing? What needs paying? I noticed it, but I didn't address it. I thought this was normal. Marriage settles, passion fades. That's what people said. And I trusted what people said more than what I felt. My kids grew up. They became independent, as they should. They stopped needing me in the way I'd built my identity around. I was proud of them, but I didn't know how to relate to them as adults. I was better at providing than sharing. My wife and I stayed together, but somewhere along the way, we stopped really seeing each other. We were polite, functional, tired. Then she got sick, not suddenly, not the kind of illness that shocks you into clarity right away. It crept in, appointments, tests, long afternoons in waiting rooms with outdated magazines and a low, constant fear neither of us named. I told myself to stay strong, to be useful. I handled the paperwork, the insurance, the schedules. I did everything right. What I didn't do enough of was sit with her, hold her hand without checking the time, let myself be scared with her instead of efficient. She died on a Tuesday morning, quietly. I was there. I remember the sound of the machine stopping more clearly than I remember her last words. That still bothers me. After the funeral, people told me how devoted I'd been, how lucky she was to have me. I nodded and thanked them. Inside, something hollow opened up that never really closed again. Retirement came a few years later. I thought maybe that's when life would finally open up, that without work I'd feel lighter. Instead, the days stretched out, empty and unstructured. I realized how much of myself I'd poured into being busy, how little I'd practiced just being present. Friends drifted away over the years, not out of conflict, just neglect. I didn't maintain relationships well. I assumed they'd always be there, that everyone would understand. They didn't, or maybe they just moved on. My children call. They visit when they can. They're good people. I'm proud of them. But there's a distance I don't know how to bridge now. I don't want to burden them with regret. I don't want to rewrite the past out loud. So I sit with it. I followed all the rules. I was loyal, responsible, careful. I didn't cheat. I didn't gamble. I didn't abandon my family. I did what I was told a good man does. And still, here I am, wondering why it feels like something essential slipped through my fingers. I think the hardest part is realizing that nothing went wrong enough to blame. There was no single bad decision, no dramatic collapse, just 1,000 small choices to delay myself, to postpone joy, to assume time was abundant. I assumed wrong. If I could go back, I wouldn't quit my job or run away or burn everything down. That's not the lesson. I would just pay attention sooner. I would sit more, speak more honestly, risk small discomforts instead of avoiding them for decades. But I can't go back, so I live quietly now. I water the plants. I read the same newspaper front to back. I take walks and notice how many houses are full of lives I'll never know. At night, I sometimes talk to my wife in my head, tell her things I should have said sooner, apologize for being so busy trying to be right. This is not a story of failure. It's a story of delay, of believing that if you followed the map exactly, the destination would take care of itself. It doesn't always. If this meant something to you, if any part of it felt familiar, don't rush to change your whole life. Just don't keep telling yourself there will be more time later. Later has a way of disappearing quietly, I know.